sorry, that's for a Democrat show.
Let me know when you're ready.
Was an extremely great conservative commentator. We're tearing it up on Wednesday night. This is awesome. This
will allow me to retort.
Well, this is Jersey Joe for the Reaver of Common Sense show. I'm on shrmedia.com.
Actually, I just totally screwed up. This show contains language that some viewers may find offensive. Listener discretion is advised. And now on to the show. And shit, what's going on? Check 1, 2. 1, 2. And welcome to the Reaver of Common Sense. I am your host, Jersey Joe, and it seems like I have a little technical difficulty going on. It's going to be one of those shows, isn't it? It just seems like every day there's an issue that's going on that's got to drive me bonkers. I don't know what the hell's going on. Welcome to the Reaver of Common Sense. I am your host, Jersey Joe, and I'm here to make sense out of the senseless. The Jersey Takeover is here. We have expanded to 2 hours every Monday through Friday, 9 p.m. to 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And if you want to watch a broadcast, it's pretty simple. Just go to Reaver.1 and click on the SHR TV button. It's a little bit of a somber day for me. We'll get past that in a minute, but someone that not only I think I went to high school with, I believe I did, but we were firefighters together. We worked the emergency service together. We worked the ambulances together. Passed away this morning. Sonny Kitchen. He was a great person. His life was saving other people's lives. His life was the fire and EMS field. I'm going to give a moment of silence for him and his family. Sonny, you'll be missed. I haven't seen you in many years, but you'll still be missed. Okay. I'm still kind of. I wasn't real close with him. I mean, we'd get done shift. We would all go to the same bar, hang out. And what's funny is you would see us. It was white, black, Puerto Rican, straight, gay, male, female, all of us, a huge crowd of us, almost like every night when we weren't working. We'd go to this 1 or 2 bars, mostly 1 or 2 bars, and we would take these bars over. We didn't care race, creed, color, religion, sex. We all worked together. We all watched each other's backs. Never once did I hear any derogatory comments because of my religion, political. That was a white person. I mean, we would bust each other's chops. I mean, you know, there was always the dumb white boy. You know, I don't know. I forget all the jokes. We would say what we were thinking and had fun. No one ever took it offensively. We learned to laugh at ourselves. And we learned to have fun. We learned that sometimes just poking fun at the weaknesses in our lives and the stereotypes can be funny. And we just had fun. I miss those days. I really do. It was just a group of us, and we just went and had fun. We lived life. We busted our ass on the rigs and the fire trucks and the rescues. And then we went and we partied. We worked hard and we played hard. And those days are pretty much done, but it's going to suck when I go back up home and, Sonny's not there at Station 22. Captain 22 is not there. It's going to suck. To his wife, his kids, my deepest regrets and condolences. And to the rest of his family. So a Democrat congressman has been arrested outside the White House during a rally for illegal immigrants. Representative Luis Gutierrez was arrested outside the White House on Tuesday during a rally demonstrating support for Obama-era Deferred Action for Children arrival programs. The Illinois Democrat was taking part in a sit-in on the sidewalk outside 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue, organized to coincide with the 5th anniversary of the initiative's introduction at the time of his arrest. Washington Examiner tweeted out that he had been arrested outside White House during a DACA rally. Just now, he's been arrested in front of the White House. Hashtag Defend DACA. Immigration advocacy group United We Dream tweeted. The group also tweeted that about 25 people were taken into custody during the event, which was also held in support of temporary protected status for illegal aliens. So I got a question, and I'm being serious here. My headset's screwing up, and it's pissing me. There we go. What temporary protected status do we give for someone who takes out undocumented withdrawals from a bank? They're doing it for the love of their family. No one's getting hurt, and most of the times they do it. Nobody gets hurt. And sometimes people get hurt when these people come into the country illegally. When they get caught, they get their family torn apart and separated. I don't see no sit-ins outside the White House. And, all right, the people, they want to protest. That's fine and dandy. This is a House representative. Have some fucking couth. Act like a House of Representative member. You're always telling Donald Trump he needs to act presidential, and then you go out there and sit like a little kid. Grow the fuck up. Stop trying to protect illegals. Stop trying to protect these criminals. How about we worry about U.S. citizens first? And don't give me this bullshit of immigration and all the taglines and talking points I've heard of. Because if you want to talk about immigration and we came here illegally, well, number one, there was no nation, so there was no rules. And number two, the Native American Indians were not native to this area. And how did they get it? They conquered. They conquered other tribes. They killed anybody in their way to take their land. That's how they had it. And we came along and we conquered. That's how lands were. God damn it. Haven't had this problem in a while. That's how lands were and countries were started. By conquering. England is not England because of, everybody was born there. No, it was conquered. It was conquered by several different types of groups, nations. What was it? Romans and the Visigoths and a couple other groups. It was very common that countries sprang up from territories that were overtaken. American Native Indians were not from here. They are from, actually, the Asia area. So your argument there, so what you're saying is then also, because they're like, oh, well, we need to let everybody in because we stole the land from the American Indians. So you want to invite people onto land that you admit is not yours to give away. That's great thinking. Great thinking there, dumbasses. What a bunch of idiots. Now, what's funny is DACA right now is still in effect. Still in effect. But DACA and the TBS programs are now both in doubt under the Trump administration. A representative for this jackass's office confirmed the arrest over Twitter, saying he was still in U.S. Park custody. Park police custody. Let me give the proper... dumbasses. Dumbasses. Oh, where's my resident Canadian, Kel? I was thinking about you when I came across this piece. So if you're listening, this is for you, Kel. I know you're not in the chat room today. Illegal aliens in Canada are now complaining about lack of free housing and cell phones. The illegal aliens who are increasingly passing up the USA and heading into Canada are now complaining that Canada does not offer enough freebies in money, cell phones, and housing, a report says. So first besides the border towns are flipping out and having military come in to help them, which is funny because their prime minister invited these illegal aliens. Now the different areas are getting flooded and they can't handle it. It just, oh God, it's beautiful watching this. Because these are the same areas that chastise us in the United States, saying we had to have more understanding and compassion, and now they're crying that they're being overtaken. And now the ingrates, these illegal aliens, are complaining they're not getting enough free stuff. Despite that, illegal aliens have access to welfare cash within days of entering Canada. Some immigrants are saying that the country does not do enough to find housing, most especially in the sanctuary city of Montreal, Daily Caller reported. Holy shit, I got to get the other wife out for this goddamn name. Holy shit. Hang on, I got to get... There's no way in hell I'm going to be able to pronounce this damn name without some help. Holy for holy. Hang on. What is it? IFTIKHAR, I think. Let's see, what does it say?
Iftikhar.
All right, one last time.
Iftikhar.
Ahmed Iftikhar. If the car don't move. Ahmed Iftikhar, a 42-year-old man who entered the U.S. illegally and then proceeded to Canada with his wife and 4 children, recently told CTV News that he couldn't find comfortable living space for his large family. Oh. Another illegal alien, a 30-year-old male from Haiti, who told the media that he entered Canada because he feared deportation if he stayed in the U.S., also complained that he had not found more permanent lodging beyond temporary shelters. Another illegal alien interviewed insisted that Canada should give free cell phones to help illegals find jobs, find lodging, and to stay in touch with government officials. And I'm sure so they can, make regular phone calls and all of that. Oh, I know it's bad to be laughing at the unfortunes of others, but when you have a country such as Canada chastising, yo, what's up, Sarge? Big Sarge in the house. How's it going today, sir? Oh. But these ingrates come into the country, then mandate all this free shit. That takes balls. That takes big brass balls to walk in, say, I'm here illegally. You didn't invite me in. I just came in. Where's my free shit? That takes balls. You know, they're not giving us enough free cell phones and not enough money. But since Donald Trump's election to the White House, Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau has made it a special point to open wide Canada's doors to illegal immigrants. He has encouraged them to pass through the U.S. to the northern neighbors. Which is kind of funny. It's funny because, like I said, I reported, earlier this week, last week, that there's several towns that are calling in military reinforcement because they're getting flooded with illegal aliens into the area. It's a joke. But it does warm my heart watching them have all these problems after they try to be above us, talk down and be all snooty and telling us what we need to do, and now they're having trouble holding up to that standard. Yeah, they thought it was funny and easy to talk down to us when it wasn't happening to them. Now they're starting to complain just like we did. But since Trudeau's political calculation, Canada has seen a massive flood of illegal aliens that the country's social system is not prepared to handle. In May, for instance, it was reported that Canada had experienced more illegal aliens by that time this year than it did in all of 2016. In 5 months, they got the same amount that they did for 2016. For 12 months in 2016, 5 months made it in. The flood of immigration has taxed Canada's immigration services, forcing legal immigrants to suffer years of delay despite languishing on lists waiting to enter country legally. And that's the big question. What about all these people that, are trying to go through the process legally and do it the right way? Now they're being punished because people just do whatever the fuck they want. And the same thing that I said here in the United States. These people already showed that they're willing to break the law to get what they want. Who's to say they're not going to break more laws to get what the hell they want? Now, I'm not trying to say they're all these criminal masterminds, but yeah, technically they all are criminals. Illegal immigrants before, anybody decides to jump on that. Illegal immigrants because they are breaking the law to get into these countries. Therefore, that makes them criminal. So yes, all illegal immigrants are criminals. So Trump was right. I know that's not exactly what he meant, but I'm going to say that is exactly what they are. They are criminals. Because if I break the law as a U.S. citizen, I'm held to a high standard. I don't get away with it because I was trying to do what's right for my family. I was trying to make a better life for my family. I'm white. I'm male. I got to be held to a higher standard. Well, you know what? Everybody else has to be held to that exact same fucking standard. There's no one law for this ethnic group, another law for a different ethnic group, and another law for other people. That's called racism. And I thought the Democrat Party was supposed to be against that. The flood has also widely inflated immigrant spending and put a strain on housing and shelter service, according to Forbes magazine. I also remember, I couldn't believe when they did this. Now, this was a little bit of a legal immigration, but in Canada, they shut down 3 military bases. 3. Kicked everybody off the fucking bases and gave all the housing to Middle Easterns, refugees, and then paid them on top of it several $1,000s a month to live there. Plus free health care, free dental, free food. They had access to everything, and they were still getting money to spend, plus not having to pay any housing, any electrical, none of those expenses. Talk about a scam that was going on. But hey, you're listening to the Reaver of Common Sense right here on SHR Media and High Plains Pundit Radio. We will be right back.
listening to the SHR Media Network.
Breaking news. According to the latest report coming out of SHR Media, a merchandise store to support both the Reaver of Common Sense and SHR Media has just been unleashed to the general public. Be forewarned that this site can be contagious and numerous items can be purchased to support the best news programming. Go to Reaver.one website and click on the store link to check out the merchandise.
You have been listening to Reaver of Common Sense, hosted by my dad, Jersey Joe. Beware, the Jersey Takeover is here. Every Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can catch the Reaver of Common Sense show, hosted by Jersey Joe, right here on shrmedia.com and highplains.dailynews.com. Only Jersey can deliver hell like no one else, so consider this your fair warning.
In a world controlled by corrupt politicians,
You got a business. That you didn't build that.
a team of ordinary men emerge from the ashes to give voice to the voiceless and hope to the hopeless. Sackhead Sean,
Dude, I'm not saying cat for the stupid pro.
Sackhead Clint,
All good friends of ours usually show up drunk.
also starring Sacco as the producer.
I'm a little bit drunk, 'cause I'm drinking.
They are the Sackheads Radio Show. Every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Pacific on shrmedia.com.
Every Wednesday night, 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, you can catch the Southside Mutt Show with its hosts, the Jersey Boys, Jersey Joe and Crash, right here on SHR Media and High Plains Pundit Radio, where we will be digging up the dirt.
Times are dark. The people misled by corrupt politicians, lied to by establishment media, and deceived by the false messages of Islam. A nation in confusion needs a guide. It needs a man with a cane. I'm Dave Milner. Join me on Spreaker, SHR Media, High Plains Talk Radio, Live Rebooting Liberty, and YouTube for a unique brand of commentary on the unpleasant blind guy. Because truth is not always pleasant.
If you miss a show, don't worry. You can catch the replays two ways, rebootingliberty.com or the reaverofcommonsense.com. While you're there on Reaver of Common Sense, don't forget, drop in your email and keep up to date with everything going on, or click the like button on the Facebook widget. Now on to the Reaver of Common Sense.
Listening to the SHR Media Network.
This show contains language that some viewers may find offensive. Listener discretion is advised. And now on to the show. And welcome back to the Reaver of Common Sense. I am your host, Jersey Joe, and I'm here to make sense out of the senseless. Again, I want to give my condolences to the Kitchener family for the passing of Captain Sonny Kitchen from Station 22 in Lawrence Township, New Jersey. Now, I'm probably going to mention that a couple times tonight because I can't mention it enough. He was a great guy. He was a hero. He dedicated his life to saving other people's lives. Don't forget, at 11 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, that is 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, you will have the Sackheads radio show with Sackhead Sean, Sackhead Clint, and the great BZ. They'll be talking about everything that's been going on the past week or two, and a lot of smart-ass comments, but you'll learn something, hopefully. You'll learn not to listen to them. No, listen, they're a great bunch of guys. I hope to have my show as great as theirs one day, and I'm being serious about that. It's no bullshit. I strive to try to catch up to what they do. So, Antifa crashes Heather Hayer's funeral in Charlottesville. On Wednesday, mourners are remembering Charlottesville victim Heather Heyer after she was tragically killed in an attack following a white supremacist rally. For those that don't know, Heather Heyer is the one that was run over by the car along with 19 other people. Members of the radical leftist group Antifa showed up outside the memorial. Some of the Antifa members were armed with baseball bats and shields. More from the Daily Caller. A group of Antifa protesters armed with purple shields and bats showed up to the Wednesday funeral of a woman mowed down by a white supremacist who struck her with a vehicle. Antifa, a collection of left-wing protesters, decided to crash the funeral of Heather Heyer, a white woman who died after a white supremacist drove his car into the crowd of protesters during a white nationalist riot. The anti-fascist activists claim they showed up armed because the police won't protect the people, according to the report on scene. That's just disrespectful, repulsive, disgusting, and just shows what these people are really about. They weren't there to, the police won't protect us. Listen, I've said it before. I do not care for what KKK people stand for, neo-Nazis stand for. But I hate to say it. They still have the right to spew their crap. And they're the ones that were pushed into these Antifa people who were armed and attacked. Now there's some videos that might show that this might not have been an intentional running somebody over with a car. Now, I've seen some videos right before the guy hit the gas. A person hits his car with a baseball bat, attacks him in his car with a baseball bat. The defense may come out and say that he was in fear of his life. He hit the gas in a panic to get away. Now, I am not excusing any of what went on at all. But it looks like Antifa or Black Lives Matter may have contributed to Heather Heyer's death. I mean, I've said it from the start. Neither side is innocent. Trump said it, and I know you got the media crying their little eyes out because he's putting the blame on Black Lives Matter and Antifa also, because they're the ones that started the violence. But we're supposed to excuse them just because white supremacists were having a protest. So we're supposed to excuse any and all violence. So now we get to pick and choose when violence is acceptable in everyday life. And I'm not talking wars. Wars is a whole different discussion. I'm not condoning what white supremacists talk about. I've been accused multiple times of being a white supremacist, accused of being a neo-Nazis. I'm a big white guy, and I used to have a bald head all the time, so I was a skinhead as I married into a Jewish family. Yeah, I really hate people like that. Yes, I just married into the damn family. But it's not black or white, and they're freaking out about it. And I'm so sick of fucking Fox. That's getting ridiculous. And there's a little blonde bimbo bitch that was on Greg Gutfeld's show and then Eric Boland's show. She's up there, and if I didn't have all this makeup on, I'd be crying about this. Trump said that both sides are at fault. Yeah, they are. Any reasonable person, everybody I've talked to, has said they don't agree with KKK. They don't like the KKK. They don't like neo-Nazis. But Antifa and Black Lives Matter went there for a fight. They went there to cause violence. They started it. They're just as much at fault. You know what? If you don't give no publicity to the assholes, KKK and neo-Nazis, no one would have fucking known. Nobody. But you went there looking for a fight, starting a fight, gave them national exposure. Dumbasses. Hold on. This country is getting worse and worse. Since the day Obama was elected, things have gotten worse and more screwed up. I thought at least we would go back to get out of bizarro world when Trump took over. But we're still somewhat in bizarro world. Everybody's trying to revert back, but the leftists are trying to keep us in this reverso bizarro world where good is bad and bad is good. You know, I don't know. I'm so sick of it all. More arrests in the toppling of the Confederate statue in North Carolina. 3 more protesters were arrested Wednesday after participating in the toppling of a nearly century-old statue of a Confederate soldier in North Carolina. Dante Strobino, 35, Nog Lone Trans, 24, were arrested when they attended a court hearing for another woman who was charged Tuesday for climbing a ladder to attach a rope to the bronze soldier. Peter Gilbert, 39, was arrested later Wednesday afternoon. Durham County Sheriff Office said the 3 arrests Wednesday were charged with 2 felonies related to inciting and participating in a riot that damaged property. The woman who climbed the ladder, Takia Thompson, was charged with the same count a day before. She is a student at a historically black North Carolina Central University. The 3 are affiliated with the Workers' World Party. What does that sound like to you? Workers' World Party. To me, that sounds like it has some communist connection to it. The Workers' World Party, which helped organize the Durham protests in response to deadly violence over the weekend during a white nationalist rally, Charlottesville, Virginia. The North Carolina statue, which was dedicated in 1924, was brought down after Thompson allegedly climbed up and attached a rope. Demonstrators then pulled it down. Seconds after the monument fell, protesters began kicking the crumbled bronze monument. Governor Roy Cooper, it's time to move forward. These monuments should come down. I'm embarrassed. I am absolutely embarrassed and disgusted. I'm tired of white supremacy keeping its foot on my neck and the necks of people who look like me, Thompson said at a news conference. That statue glorifies the conditions that oppress people live in, and it had to go. Then why are we still allowing the Democrat Party to represent any of the political spectrum? Democrats were the party of racism. Democrats were the party of KKK. Democrats were the party of slavery. Democrats were the party of the Confederacy. Democrats fought against women's suffrage. Democrats fought against civil rights. So you want to talk about what glorifies the condition that oppress people? Look at the party that a lot of these people are voting for and that is allowed to be on the national stage. Democrats, the Democratic Party. This shows that these people are nothing but hypocrites and are picking and choosing. When they sit there and they start protesting and demanding that the Democrat Party be dismantled, then I'll take them seriously. Otherwise, this is just a partisan politic fucking smoke and mirrors to try to start trouble. I know I'm not the only one that feels this. I mean, if we're allowed to say what's offensive should be banned, I find the Democrat Party very offensive because it was the party of slavery, damn it. And don't give me, well, you see, they changed parties back in 1964. Well, I've heard 1964, 1970s, 1950s, 1940s. You know, it depends on who's coming up with this myth. Because there was no fucking switching of the party. The Republicans just didn't wake up. Hey, after 100 years of fighting to get civil rights, let's become racist. We fought to give them all these freedoms. Let's just become racist. Oh, because they started winning the South, which is a myth, because they didn't. That's how Jimmy Carter actually won the presidency, because he won the South. That's how Bill Clinton also won, and Obama actually won, is because they won the South. So it's a bullshit answer to try to make it seem like just because if you're in the South, you're supposed to be racist now. Yeah, thank you, Sarge. Thank you. I forgot to bring him up again, too, tonight. I've been bringing him up. Senator Robert Byrd, whose name is on several schools in Virginia, several monuments, several streets, a lot of buildings. Now, he not only was a leader of the KKK, he was a recruiter. And the longest-serving Democrat senator till his death in 2010. 50 years he was there. 50 years as a senator. Hillary Clinton hugged and kissed him, praising him, saying he was a mentor towards her. Not only that, she also said Margaret Sanger was a mentor to, well, maybe not a mentor, but she looked up to Margaret Sanger as a hero. Margaret Sanger being the one that came up with Planned Parenthood, who also came up with it as a way to kill off black people by convincing them that they needed abortions. But yeah, Robert Byrd was a KKK member, but, he apologized. That makes everything he did all right. That makes it okay. No, it doesn't. If you can't accept that Donald Trump, on multiple occasions going all the way back till the 80s, I think it was the 80s, maybe early 90s, he denounced David Duke. If you're not going to accept that, then we don't have to accept that the Democrats until 2010 had a KKK senator. Senator Robert Byrd, longest sitting senator for the Democrats. 50 years. 50 years that racist sat there. 50 years that KKK senator sat there in the Democrat Party, and never once did they say anything to him. Hillary Clinton also said that he was the heart and soul of the Democrat senators. So that's another reason I don't believe the bullshit and this fake outrage I hear from Democrats. And again, thank you, Sarge, for reminding me of that one. I mean, there's so many of these examples to put up just to show Democrat Party started the KKK. We're the backbone of the KKK. You know, they're always running around accusing everybody. They created it. They are the parents of the KKK. You're listening to the Reaver of Common Sense right here on SHR Media and High Plains Pundit Radio, and we will be right back.
Conservative media done right. You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
Breaking news. According to the latest report coming out of SHR Media, a merchandise store to support both the Reaver of Common Sense and SHR Media has just been unleashed to the general public. Be forewarned that this site can be contagious and numerous items can be purchased to support the best news programming. Go to Reaver.one website and click on the store link to check out the merchandise.
You have been listening to Reaver of Common Sense, hosted by my dad, Jersey Joe. Beware, the Jersey Takeover is here. Every Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can catch the Reaver of Common Sense show, hosted by Jersey Joe, right here on shrmedia.com and highplainsdailynews.com. Only Jersey can deliver hell like no one else, so consider this your fair warning.
In a world controlled by corrupt politicians,
You got a business. You didn't build that.
a team of ordinary men emerge from the ashes to give voice to the voiceless and hope to the hopeless. Sackhead Sean,
Dude, I'm not saying cop for the stupid program.
Sackhead Clint,
All good friends of ours usually show up drunk.
also starring Sacco as the producer.
I'm a little bit drunk, I'm a little bit drunk, 'cause I'm drinking, drinking, drinking.
They are the Sackheads Radio Show. Every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Pacific on shrmedia.com.
Every Wednesday night, 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, you can catch the Southside Mutt Show with its hosts, the Jersey Boys, Jersey Joe and Crash, right here on SHR Media and High Plains Pundit Radio, where we will be digging up the dirt.
Times are dark. The people misled by corrupt politicians, lied to by establishment media, and deceived by the false messages of Islam. A nation in confusion needs a guide. It needs a man with a cane. I'm Dave Milner. Join me on Spreaker, SHR Media, High Plains Talk Radio, Live Rebooting Liberty, and YouTube for a unique brand of commentary on the unpleasant blind guide. Because truth is not always pleasant.
If you miss a show, don't worry. You can catch the replays two ways, rebootingliberty.com or the reaverofcommonsense.com. While you're there on Reaver of Common Sense, don't forget, drop in your email and keep up to date with everything going on, or click the like button on the Facebook widget. Now on to the Reaver of Common Sense.
Listening to the SHR Media Network.
This show contains language that some viewers may find offensive. Listener discretion is advised. And now on to the show. And welcome back to the Reaver of Common Sense. I am your host, Jersey Joe, and I'm trying to make sense out of the senseless. The Jersey Takeover is here. We have expanded to 2 hours every Monday through Friday, 9 p.m. to 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And if you want to watch a broadcast, just go to Reaver.one, that's REAVER.ONE, click on the SHR TV button, and voila, you can watch me live. And you can join the chat, join in the conversation. It's getting ridiculous with what has been going on. Come on. Did I do that? Oh. There we go. Trying to make sure everything's still going good. Oh, no. I still want to broadcast. Damn, I'm having a bitch of a time all of a sudden. I'm glad to see that arrests have been made. It's disgusting to see so many people taking it into their own hands because things aren't going their way. And people think that late Tuesday, North Carolina Governor Ray Cooper called for removal of all remaining Confederate monuments on state property, directing state officials to study the cost and logistics of moving them to historical sites or museum. We cannot continue to glorify a war against the United States of America fought in the defense of slavery. These monuments should come down. Well, as these monuments are being destroyed, remember, those are U.S. veterans. They are taking down and destroying U.S. veterans' monuments. And that is unacceptable on its merit right there. But next on the Liberals' list for destruction, Confederate carving at Stone Mountain Memorial. A fight over Confederate monuments continue across the country. Liberals are again gearing up to force the state of Georgia to destroy the giant carving of 3 Confederate Civil War generals on the side of state-owned Stone Mountain. This week, Democrat candidate for governor Stacey Abrams released a statement calling for the destruction of the 158-foot-long bas relief first started in 1923, according to the Atlantic Journal-Constitution. The African-American Democrat called the monument a blight on Georgia and slammed the monument as having been funded by the KKK, despite that it was the state and federal government that paid for most of the creation. Abrams laid out her case in a long series of tweets posted on August 15th. The removal of the bas relief of Confederates from Stone Mountain has been a constant debate since the state bought the property in 1958. But indeed, liberals have been fighting to have the carving removed at least since the Charleston church shooting in the summer of 2015. The removal of the bas relief of Confederates from Stone Mountain has been a constant debate since the state paid for by the founder of the second KKK. The monument had no purpose other than celebration of racism, terror, and division when carved in 1915. While Lost Cause supporters did organize to initiate the project back in 1915, their money ran out quickly, and their support stopped when only one figure was fairly begun. In fact, the project laid fallow for 36 years until the state and federal government became involved in the late 1950s and floated the funds to finish the carvings. The site was purchased by the state of Georgia in 1958, but the sculpture was still incomplete due to 2 world wars, funding problems, and numerous missed deadlines and disputes. It was not completed until 1972. Indeed, in 1960, when the state purchased the property, the agreement allowed the Klan to meet on the grounds and perpetuity was canceled by the state. The Georgia General Assembly created the Stone Mountain Memorial Association soon after that, and in the 1960s launched a competition to have the memorial completed. The work was finished 12 years later. Abrams went on to insist that Confederate monuments belong only in museums and then called the monument a blight. The managers of Stone Mountain have taken steps to educate with a powerful audio tour to return the listeners to the horrors of slavery. but the visual image of Stone Mountain's edifice remains a blight on our state and should be removed. The idea quickly spread among Georgia liberals. A state socialist group added its voice to the call to destroy the monument. This is the final boss of Confederate monuments. We're not stopping unless we replace these scumbags with outcasts. I spent a few years as a kid in Stone Mountain, around 1974 or so. We'd get flyers in our mailbox advertising Klan rallies at the monument. Even North Carolina sitting Governor Roy Cooper seemed to agree, saying that these monuments should come down. It's time to move forward. These monuments should come down. Last weekend, I watched with horror as events in Charlottesville unfolded. The Journal-Constitution, though, disagreed with the idea, saying that the Stone Mountain carving is heritage, warts and all. According to the park's official website, the carving of the three men towers 400 feet above the ground, measures 90 feet by 190 feet, and is recessed 42 feet into the mountain. The deepest point in the carving is Lee's elbow, which is 12 feet to the mountain surface. Again, when they do away with the Democrat Party, when they condemn Robert Byrd, then we can talk. Otherwise, this is just political grandstanding. Nothing more, nothing less. My wife was nice enough. She stopped right before the show. She was on her way home, and she got me a Wawa coffee. No sponsorship, none of that. She just happened to stop. I love Wawa coffee. Democrats are trying to hide their history. They're trying to do everything. Democrat activists urge a national push against Confederate statues. Can we push to have Margaret Sanger removed from a federal museum? We now have CAR Islamic Group are expanding their 2017 cultural war against Confederate historical statues and landmarks, boasting concerns that progressive Antifa groups and white power fascists may again collide during mismanaged public demonstration. It's funny because when you watch all the videos of ISIS, what were they doing? Tearing down historical monuments that they disagreed with. What do we have? Wasn't it the Nazis who ran around burning books and removing free speech? What do we have the left doing, trying to silence anybody that disagrees with them? Two of the horrible groups their tactics are being used by Democrats. Doesn't that make you want to go, what the hell's going on in the party? What the hell happened to this country? We're going to hell in a handbasket. And the Democrat Party is leading the way. They're trying to hide the history. Donna Brazile, who twice worked as a temporary chairwoman of the Democrat National Committee, tweeted an article on Monday calling for the removal of 8 Confederate statues now displayed in Congress. Why? Because they are not giving debate questions away like you did. It's kind of funny that she's running her mouth after all the immoral, despicable actions that she did during the election. And now she's going to run her mouth like, oh, Jesus Christ. Goddamn update popped up again. Oh, now I got to pick a damn time. The hell? fuck is going on? The bloody blue blazes is going on with my mouse. Hold on. Click on something, kind of like to scroll through, and it won't stop scrolling. It just keeps going and going and going and going. Let's see if that fixed it. Yeah, it did. Sweet. Come on. There it is. All right, 11:55. Yeah, I don't know why. I had that problem when I first started the show up, but I pretty much just ignored it. All right, there we go. Have it restart after done the show. But what is... Now that totally threw me off. I mean, why is Donna Brazil even getting involved in this right now? Because there's certain people I would be hiding. Donna Brazil, Debbie Wasserman Schultz, Hillary Clinton. You would think they would want them hidden. What's up, Sean? I don't know. It's crazy. It's absolutely nuts what's going on in this world. If they're that upset over a picture or a statue, I mean, Jesus, do they really want to leave their safety of their house? Are they really that capable of running the country if they get that upset over a picture or a statue? It's history. Well, I thought the scale readings were going down for you. No, I'm still pissed you're losing weight. Glad, but still pissed. Even without the historical circumstances of the Capitol Hill status arrival, there is virtually no justification for their continued presence, nor can it be said there aren't better native sons and daughters to honor. Virginia could replace General Robert E. Lee with John Marshall, the legendary Chief of Justice and father of the American rule of law, or Tuskegee Institute founder Booker T. Washington. If it needs a Civil War hero, why not George Henry Thomas? Alabama could select author Harper Lee or jazz legend Nat King Cole. Georgia could replace Confederate Vice President Alexander Stephens. You know, they go through a list. Yeah, you could. Why don't you put that forth and put them up also? It's not that hard. The article linked to a July article in the Atlantic noting General Lee's support for racial subordinates before and even after the Civil War. On Monday, Baltimore Mayor Catherine Pug announced she would revive plans to move 4 Confederate-related statues from the city to Confederate Cemetery away from their current location. Yeah, and she did it in the middle of the night without anybody knowing. And we got it going on down here. And I'm going back to my go-to. Then the Democrat Party should be done away with. Why are they allowed to continue? They're the ones that are pushing it, and though that it's their party members that did this. They were the party of slavery. They were the party of the Confederate. And now they're trying to hide their history. Why? Because it came to light big time this election, and it hurt them. So now they're going to do everything they can to try to hide it. Exactly, Sean. Sarge was in here earlier, and he made the comment of, and I've made it before, Robert Byrd. Why aren't they going after Robert Byrd? His name's all over Virginia. He was a KKK member and recruiter, leader. And he was a Democrat senator until 2010, and nothing was goddamn ever said. But that's okay, because it was the Democrat Party doing it. You're listening to the Reaver of Common Sense right here on SHR Media and High Plains Pundit Radio, and we will be right back.
Conservative media done right. You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
Breaking news. According to the latest report coming out of SHR Media, a merchandise store to support both the Reaver of Common Sense and SHR Media has just been unleashed to the general public. Be forewarned that this site can be contagious and numerous items can be purchased to support the best news programming. Go to Reaver.one website and click on the store link to check out the merchandise.
Listening to Reaver of Common Sense, hosted by my dad, Jersey Joe. Beware, the Jersey Takeover is here. Every Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can catch the Reaver of Common Sense show, hosted by Jersey Joe, right here on shrmedia.com and highplainsdailynews.com. Only Jersey can deliver hell like no one else, so consider this your fair warning.
In a world controlled by corrupt politicians,
You got a business. That you didn't build that.
a team of ordinary men emerge from the ashes to give voice to the voiceless and hope to the hopeless. Sackhead Sean,
Dude, I'm not saying cop for the stupid pro.
Sackhead Clint,
All good friends of ours usually show up drunk.
also starring Sacco as the producer.
I'm a little bit drunk, I'm a little bit drunk, 'cause I'm drinking, drinking, drinking.
They are the Sackheads Radio Show. Every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Pacific on shrmedia.com.
Every Wednesday night, 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, you can catch the Southside Mutt Show with its hosts, the Jersey Boys, Jersey Joe and Crash, right here on SHR Media and High Plains Pundit Radio, where we will be digging up the dirt.
Times are dark. The people misled by corrupt politicians, lied to by establishment media, and deceived by the false messages of Islam. A nation in confusion needs a guide. It needs a man with a cane. I'm Dave Milner. Join me on Spreaker, SHR Media, High Plains Talk Radio, Live Rebooting Liberty, and YouTube for a unique brand of commentary on the unpleasant blind guide. Because truth is not always pleasant.
If you miss a show, don't worry. You can catch the replays two ways, rebootingliberty.com or the reaverofcommonsense.com. While you're there on Reaver of Common Sense, don't forget, drop in your email and keep up to date with everything going on, or click the like button on the Facebook widget. Now on to the Reaver of Common Sense.
Listening to the SHR Media Network.
This show contains language that some viewers may find offensive. Listener discretion is advised. And now on to the show. And welcome back to the Reaver of Common Sense. I am your host, Jersey Joe, and I'm here to make sense out of the senseless. Don't forget, top of the hour coming up. That's 11 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, and 8 o'clock on the wrong side of the country, you'll have the Sackheads radio show hosted by Sackhead Sean, Sackhead Clint, and the infamous BZ. They'll be coming up next, and they're an okay show, you know. I mean, BZ and Sackhead Sean, or Sackhead Clint hit it every time. That damn Sackhead Sean's always screwing up and making a bunch of fake news up. So tune in, listen, and make fun of Sackhead Sean every chance you get. Let's see. Where are we at? Yeah, I do want to give a little shout out again. I know I did just about all show, but the show is dedicated to Station 22 Captain. Oh God, total brain fart. Sonny Kitchenson, just total fucking brain fart. But yeah, this goes out to him. I don't know. I know he was having medical problems for a couple years, and he finally succumbed to it. But he gave his life to the emergency services. His wife is a nurse also. So here's to him. Yeah, now how do you feel, Sean? Sean was making fun of firefighters, and he didn't know that was going on. Just busting on your chops, bro. Just busting on your chops. But, yeah, this is dedicated to Captain 22, Sonny Kitchenson. We'll miss you, bro. You didn't know, bro. This whole statue thing is a deviation, I think, right now. It's one of the many things they're using because they're trying to get off of the Russia subject. You know, they're still going to give, like, little comments because they don't want to think they just totally trying to hide it. So they'll make little comments here and there. But the Russia, that whole conspiracy thing's been pretty much put to bed. So now they got to come up with something else to talk about to hide that there's nothing there. So they don't have to admit they wasted the American taxpayers' money on a bullshit charge. So they're going to be bringing this up as a distraction. That's why I honestly think, especially now that we found out one of the organizers was a Obama supporter and a Occupy Wall Street activist. Something doesn't smell right, and this seems to be a whole setup. And I honestly think that it's been put up to you know, as a different talking point, so they don't have to talk about Russia anymore. It something doesn't. I can't put my fingers on it. I have no proof, but something doesn't smell right in Denmark on this one. So, let's see, what else is coming up next? What's coming up next? Damn, that was a long article that I didn't really go over. Susan Palin slams Ireland's evil Down syndrome abortion. I think it was NBC also doubled down on this. They are reporting that Iceland is close to 100% wiping out Down syndrome. I didn't know you could wipe out Down syndrome. But they pretty much, if you are an expected mother in Iceland and you test positive for Down syndrome, they are terminating the pregnancy. In other words, aborting the baby, killing the baby just because it has Down syndrome. That is sick. That is fucking disgusting. And I just thought that was everything this world was against. We were against. I mean, that's something that fucking Hitler actually did. Wasn't it Hitler and, you know, some other scumbags like that throughout history that have killed off those who were not as strong as everybody else? If there was a mental or physical defect, they were killed off? I thought we were against stuff like that. And they're at almost 100% of abortions for expecting mothers who test positive for Down syndrome. It is intolerant for people who may not look like you, adding it was so wrong and so evil. Pound said we couldn't get through all of it, all the report, without my heart just absolutely breaking, because this intolerance for people who may not look like you is just it's so wrong. It's so evil. And here, Iceland is such a beautiful country. When I was governor here, I met with the president of Iceland, and we talked about our beautiful region of the world and hardworking people with such great hearts. And I think Iceland won't be so beautiful if they continue down this path of being so intolerant to the degree of trying to snuff out the life of most of those who maybe do not look like the subjective view of somebody that would equate to perfection. This is absolutely horrible. I don't even have the words for it. I'm sickened. And yet the UN sits silently. The U.S. sits silent. Liberals sit silent because, oh, it's abortion. Yay! I can't believe a country's actually doing this. I never thought. There's a lot of things that are going on I never thought I'd see in my lifetime. I never thought I'd see some of this in my lifetime. I thought we were way past a lot of this. I thought our culture as humans had surpassed a lot of this horrors that I'm now seeing in my lifetime. I mean, how disgusting is it for a country to be bragging? They almost got 100% of expecting mothers to terminate pregnancies. And to the ones that haven't buckled under to the pressure, God bless you. God bless you. I'm appalled. That we would still allow this. And Sarah Palin continued, you know, when you consider that a Down syndrome kid, their skin is a little bit different, their eyes are shaped differently, their speech patterns are different. Those things that make them so unique make the world more unique and more beautiful. And to try to snuff out their life in the name of building a perfect race or a perfect country, that harkens back to neo-Nazi. What would they do? Want to put my daughter down? Because, well, she has a speech impediment. She doesn't talk perfect. Especially when she gets excited. She really rambles on and you have trouble understanding her. So, is that next? What's next? What is next? I think that's a legitimate question. What is next? What is the next thing that we're going to start aborting to make sure that these babies are perfect? You know, I get pissed off when everybody always wants to compare to Nazis and all that. But this one's a dead ringer to compare to Nazism. This is exactly what the Nazis did. I can't believe it. I know Sackhead Sean right now is probably punching a wall. He's been really quiet during this segment, and I'm pretty sure he's punching a wall somewhere. FBI has reopened a case on search for Lynch-Clinton tarmac meeting records. The FBI has reopened its consideration of a request for records on the infamous 2016 tarmac meeting between then Attorney General Loretta Lynch and former President Bill Clinton. The group behind that requested told Fox News. American Center. Actually, hold up. I want to see. I think I have the sound clip for this. I actually think I do. I 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 think I can. Where is it? Yeah, I'm pretty sure I do have. I thought I did. Oh, come on. Give me 1 second. All right, now it's being a pain in the ass. Now it's being a pain in the ass because I know I had a sound clip. Come on, roll the dice. Snake eyes, crap. Videos. Here it is. Let's see. Make sure there's no commercial with it.
Welcome back to Hannity. So on this program, we've been calling for a special counsel to investigate Hillary Clinton and numerous scandals. And now the Washington Times is reporting, quote, Clinton email case far from closure as the FBI hands over more classified documents to state. And tonight, the American Center for Law and Justice is reporting that the FBI is reopening its FOIA request into the Clinton-Lynch tarmac meeting and much more. Here with reaction. One of the president's attorneys, Chief Counsel, American Center for Law and Justice, Jay Sekulow, Fox News, anchor attorney Greg Jarrett. You broke this with, you were lied to by the FBI originally on your FOIA request. They said no such documents exist. There, in fact, was a back and forth between the FBI and the Justice Department, some, 481 pages. They actually put talking points together, and they're not supposed to be political. And they never sent you the talking points. They just put a black page up. Where are we now?
Yeah, well, let me tell you what's happened. So, we put in the request about and it says on the letter, the meeting between Attorney General Loretta Lynch and former President Bill Clinton. And the FBI came back with an initial letter saying there are no documents that we have pursuant to your request. Those documents don't exist. We then did the same request to the Department of Justice. They didn't respond at all, so we went to federal court, got a court order demanding a release of the documents, and lo and behold, when we get those documents 2 weeks ago, in it are documents between the FBI and the Department of Justice and vice versa. And, of course, the FBI was saying we had no such documents. So we obviously we raised it right here on your broadcast. We raised it with the lawyers at the various departments, including the Department of Justice, and a really unprecedented move. And, by the way, in those email exchanges, one of the email exchanges actually involved not just somebody in the FBI, but the chief of staff to James Comey receiving, quote, information on talking points on how to handle the Clinton-Lynch meeting that took place in Arizona. But, Sean, we put a lot of pressure on the FBI to do what's right here since we got the documentation.
But you were lied to, and you don't have the talking points, so the DOJ and FBI should never. Yeah. What are you holding up? I can't see it.
Well, I'm holding in here a letter from the United States Federal Bureau of Investigation that says they've reopened the FOIA request and are now going through the documents to give us the documents that are relevant to our inquiry. And as it relates to the so-called talking points, this was in crisis management mode for the Department of Justice with Loretta Lynch the entire time. And by the way, James Comey made a big deal about that when he came out about Hillary Clinton in July of last year, saying, and when he testified earlier this year, he said, oh, it was that interchange at the tarmac that got me so concerned. Well, his chief of staff knew about it within hours after it happened. So that's number one. He didn't bother, by the way, to go back over to the Department of Justice and say, hey, this may be a violation of existing law or statutes. He didn't bother to do that. So I just want to be on the record on that. But number two, and this is important, Sean, the FBI has now reopened it, but you're right. They redacted not one-page email, a three-page email with the talking points.
Well, and the redaction, by the way, they claimed a particular privilege. I looked it up. the deliberations privilege. It doesn't apply to this case.
No.
Talking points don't constitute a deliberative movement. And so the privilege that they're citing on the redaction is absurd. It's also absurd that there were never, as James Comey said, any documents. He signed a letter saying, under penalty of perjury, there are no documents relating to the tarmac meeting. Now we know there are hundreds of them. So there are three possibilities here. Either Comey lied, or he didn't understand the request.
His general counsel and chief of staff got the request. So it's kind of hard.
Comey outright lied. We all know he was lying.
They lost the documents and they've suddenly been found, or they lied when they said there were no documents, or they didn't understand the request. But the request, by the way, is standard boilerplate that every lawyer is familiar with. Hand over all documents pertaining to the tarmac meeting. That's everything.
But there's something else. There's something else here, Sean, really quick, and that is the letter from the FBI denying that there was any information relevant to us was signed by the same section chief for the Record Information Dissemination Unit, who's the same one that signed it a year later. It was almost a year ago, exactly, when they said there was nothing, signed by the same guy who came back and now has said, whoops, we're going to go back and check because obviously they know we got those documents.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how big is this, Jay?
I think this is very significant. So I give it a 10, and I'll tell you why. There is something, just think about what took place on that tarmac. That is not the way equal justice that's been the theme of this. That is not the way equal justice under the law is supposed to work.
That's been my point for forever, and I agree with you. Guys, good to see you both. We'll stay on all these issues. A lot of news every night.
There was no equal justice going on. Bill Clinton and the Democrat Party thought they can get away with it and hide it. They thought Hillary Clinton was going to win. By hiding it, Hillary Clinton would win the election and everything would be done and over with. She didn't win, and there needs to be some major investigations. You're listening to the Reaver of Common Sense right here on SHR Media and High Plains Pundit Radio, and we will be right back.
Listening to the SHR Media Network.
Breaking news. According to the latest report coming out of SHR Media, a merchandise store to support both the Reaver of Common Sense and SHR Media has just been unleashed to the general public. Be forewarned that this site can be contagious and numerous items can be purchased to support the best news programming. Go to Reaver.one website and click on the store link to check out the merchandise.
You have been listening to Reaver of Common Sense, hosted by my dad, Jersey Joe. Beware, the Jersey Takeover is here. Every Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can catch the Reaver of Common Sense show, hosted by Jersey Joe, right here on SHRmedia.com and HighPlainsDailyNews.com. Only Jersey can deliver hell like no one else, so consider this your fair warning.
In a world controlled by corrupt politicians,
You got a business. You didn't build that.
a team of ordinary men emerge from the ashes to give voice to the voiceless and hope to the hopeless. Sackhead Sean,
Dude, I'm not saying cop for the stupid program.
Sackhead Clint,
All good friends of ours usually show up drunk.
also starring Sacco as the producer.
I'm a little bit drunk, I'm a little bit drunk, 'cause I'm drinking, drinking, drinking.
They are the Sackheads Radio Show. Every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Pacific on SHR Media. ReaverOfCommonSense.com.
Every Wednesday night, 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, you can catch the Southside Mutt Show with its hosts, the Jersey Boys, Jersey Joe and Crash, right here on SHR Media and High Plains Pundit Radio, where we will be digging up the dirt.
Times are dark. The people misled by corrupt politicians, lied to by establishment media, and deceived by the false messages of Islam. A nation in confusion needs a guide. It needs a man with a cane. I'm Dave Milner. Join me on Spreaker, SHR Media, High Plains Talk Radio, Live Rebooting Liberty, and YouTube for a unique brand of commentary on the unpleasant blind guide. Because truth is not always pleasant.
If you miss a show, don't worry. You can catch the replays two ways, rebootingliberty.com or the Reaver of Common Sense.com. While you're there on Reaver of Common Sense, don't forget, drop in your email and keep up to date with everything going on, or click the like button on the Facebook widget. Now on to the Reaver of Common Sense.
Listening to the SHR Media Network.
This show contains language that some viewers may find offensive. Listener discretion is advised. And now on to the show. And welcome back to the Reaver of Common Sense. I'm hitting a bunch of buttons right now and getting nothing done. Welcome back to the Reaver of Common Sense. I am your host, Jersey Joe, and I'm here to make sense out of the senseless. The Jersey Takeover is here. We have expanded to 2 hours every Monday through Friday, 9 p.m. to 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And if you want to watch a broadcast, it's easy. Just go to Reaver.1 and click on the SHR TV button. It's that easy. Don't forget, top of the hour. Top of the hour right after the Reaver Common Sense, 11 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, 8 o'clock Pacific Standard Time will be the Sackheads radio show hosted by Sackhead Sean, Sackhead Clint, and the famous BZ. So tune in. Don't forget to join in the chat room. Jump in the conversation. Have some fun. All right. Where are we at? So FBI has reopened the case for the records. Because there's records of all this. We've seen that they've had records when they lied and said there was nothing there. Nobody was on there. Nobody knows what was said. Bullshit. It was all a big lie. Big goddamn lie. They know exactly what was said, and we're going to find out, hopefully. All right, and a goof that could play into the president's fake news complaint, Politico initially published a faulty transcript Tuesday of his defiant remarks on Charlottesville that, thanks to a single word change, made it look like Trump was directly identifying with the white nationalists involved. The impromptu press conference has resulted in a new wave of bipartisan criticism for the president, who went after the alt-left for their alleged role in the deadly violence at the white nationalist rally. Trump said there's blame on both sides, claiming some in attendance were not neo-Nazis and merely at Charlottesville to protest the removal of Confederate symbols. But a single stray word in an initial political transcript fueled his critics even more. The transcript reflected Trump saying, okay, what about the alt-left that came charging at us? The line quickly spread on social media. Of course it did. They tell the lie, it gets spread, and even after it's corrected, nobody will know because the initial lie is out there. All right. So I got my brother downgraded to a smaller house. And my other brother a couple years ago bought all the kids, his kid, my other brother kid, my kid, all bunch of TVs. They're like 32-inch, something like that, TVs. So they're all same make and all that. Well, since my brother, his oldest, is in the Army, is away at boot camp, and downgraded the house, he's got extra TVs. So he gave me these 32-inch TVs. Well, I got one so far. I got to wait till the other one comes in. And my daughter has one, and that's what I use for the TV, for news and stuff. But I put the other one into the computer room. And, come on. I'm using it as a monitor. So I just went to change sources on the one TV, and it changed the source on both. I'm like, shit, I don't want to change the source on this one. I forgot it's the same controller for both TVs. Crapola. I hate when that shit happens. No, that totally went off course. Just a simple word. And what, like I said, what it is now, they changed that one word. It got pushed out into the media, into the main social media. And even though they corrected it, the lie will stay the truth. Because everybody will think that's what the truth is now. Because that's what was pushed. You know, people only usually read headlines or the initial article. They don't read the follow-ups. Politico's own Ann Karina flagged it on Twitter saying, just noticed the use of us in this transcript. The New York Times' Maggie Haberman then picked up on, Karina's tweet, as did reporters from the Washington Post, CNBC, and everywhere else. What it is, Trump, what about the left, alt-left, that came charging at us, that came charging at the, as you say, alt-right? John Harwood tweeted that. Maggie Haberman, quotation marks, us. The problem was, it was not clear exactly what Trump said at the end of that sentence. He may have simply said, like E-M, Politico, along with some of the reporters who picked up on the original transcript, later walked it back. Politico pointed out an updated transcript that shows Trump saying, okay, what about the alt-left that came charging at indiscernible, what about the alt-left that came charging at the, as you say, alt-right? Do they have any semblance of guilt? Politico explained that it updated the transcript after listening to the audio again. A correction note at the bottom says, in a review of the audio, we cannot definitely discern Trump's exact words at the moment in the news conference. Carney also deleted her original tweet and sent out the new transcript on Twitter. Deleted tweet of original Politico transcript that had POTUS saying alt-left came charging at us. New transcript. And she gives a web address to the new transcript. Let's see. I think I got a sound clip for this too. Let's see. But drum roll, please. Watch it goes to a commercial. I knew it. I knew it would go to a commercial first. God damn it. It's absolutely ridiculous. Haberman clarified as well. There wasn't actually us. It was M. Sounded like us on audio, but video into the feed makes clear M.
Semblance of guilt?
And let me back it up.
Let me ask you this. What about the fact that they came charging with clubs in their hands, swinging clubs? Do they have any left that came charging at the, as you say,
Come on,
the alt-right? Do they have any left
Come
that
on,
came
you.
charging at the, as you say, the alt?
All right.
Left that came charging at the, as you say, the alt-right. Do they have any semblance of guilt? Let me ask you this. What about the fact that they came charging with clubs in their hands, swinging clubs? Do they have any problem? I think they do. So, as far as I'm concerned, that was a horrible, horrible day. Wait a minute. I'm not finished. Fake news. That was a horrible day. I will tell you something. I watched those very closely, much more closely than you people watched it. And you have, you had a group on one side that was bad, and you had a group on the other side that was also very violent. And nobody wants to say that, but I'll say it right now. You had a group on the other side that came charging in without a permit, and they were very, very violent.
And that's the goddamn truth. That is the actual truth.
Do you think that what you call the alt-left is the same as neo-Nazis?
All of those people, excuse me, I've condemned neo-Nazis. I've condemned many different groups, but not all of those people were neo-Nazis, believe me. Not all of those people were white supremacists by any stretch. Those people were also there because they wanted to protest the taking down of a statue, Robert E. Lee. So, excuse me, and you take a look at some of the groups and you see, and you know it if you were honest reporters, which in many cases you're not, but many of those people were there.
I love it when he jams it down their throat.
The taking down of the statue of Robert E. Lee. So, this week it's Robert E. Lee. I noticed that Stonewall Jackson's coming down. I wonder, is it George Washington next week? And is it Thomas Jefferson the week after? You really do have to ask yourself, where does it stop?
And it does. We need to ask, where does it stop? Because Lincoln Memorial has already been damaged. Where is it going to stop next? Because it won't just stop with the Confederate monuments. They will keep going. They will find a reason for everything that they don't agree with. They will keep going and going until there is no semblance of anything negative towards them, and no conservative can talk. If we don't stop this now, and if the left doesn't want to stand up and be part of America and the founding of our fathers, then we need to stop everything now. It is becoming an absolute repulsive atmosphere in this country. Disgusting. The media is very complicit. And you now have Silicon Valley companies that doubt the concept of free speech. They don't like the concept of free speech, and they are starting to do stuff to stop free speech in Silicon Valley. And if you notice, what do? They gave everybody all these freedoms. You can live at your job. You can get all your medications, your child care, your babysitter here, food. Everything can be done here. And they took control of your whole life there. So now you're going to have to give in and do what they want. You're going to have to start giving up your freedoms out there. Because they pretty much own your ass. Everybody thought it was this euphoric bliss that was going to happen. Well, we're starting to see it's not what they thought it was about. There is no free speech out there anymore. God forbid you say something that they disagree with. You get fired for it. And it's funny because, what was the one person that wrote the article that said men and women aren't built the same? There's differences and stress hits each one differently. And oh my God, they're the exact same. How dare you say that? But now there's women afraid to come to work. You just proved the guy's writing correct. And proved your own statement wrong, that men and women are exactly the same, but only the women are afraid to come to work? Come on now. Come on. All right, don't forget, top of the hour, in approximately 20 minutes, you have the Sackheads radio show. I'm pretty sure it will be all the last week, everything that's going on within the last week, with a nice perspective from BZ, Sackhead Sean, and Sackhead Clint. But right now, you're listening to the Reaver of Common Sense right here on SHR Media and High Plains Pundit Radio, and we will be right back.
listening to the SHR Media Network.
Breaking news. According to the latest report coming out of SHR Media, a merchandise store to support both the Reaver of Common Sense and SHR Media has just been unleashed to the general public. Be forewarned that this site can be contagious and numerous items can be purchased to support the best news programming. Go to Reaver.one website and click on the store link to check out the merchandise.
You have been listening to Reaver of Common Sense, hosted by my dad, Jersey Joe. Beware, the Jersey Takeover is here. Every Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can catch the Reaver of Common Sense show, hosted by Jersey Joe, right here on shrmedia.com and highplainsdailynews.com. Only Jersey can deliver hell like no one else, so consider this your fair warning.
In a world controlled by corrupt politicians,
You got a business. That you didn't build that.
a team of ordinary men emerge from the ashes to give voice to the voiceless and hope to the hopeless. Sackhead Sean,
Dude, I'm not saying cop for the stupid program.
Sackhead Clint,
All good friends of ours usually show up drunk.
also starring Sacco as the producer.
I'm a little bit drunk, I'm a little bit drunk, 'cause I'm drinking, drinking, drinking.
They are the Sackheads Radio Show. Every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Pacific on shrmedia.com.
Every Wednesday night, 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, you can catch the Southside Mud Show with its host, the Jersey Boys, Jersey Joe and Crash, right here on SHR Media and High Plains Pundit Radio, where we will be digging up the dirt.
Times are dark. The people misled by corrupt politicians, lied to by establishment media, and deceived by the false messages of Islam. A nation in confusion needs a guide. It needs a man with a cane. I'm Dave Milner. Join me on Spreaker, SHR Media, High Plains Talk Radio, Live Rebooting Liberty, and YouTube for a unique brand of commentary on the unpleasant blind guide. Because truth is not always pleasant.
If you miss a show, don't worry. You can catch the replays two ways, rebootingliberty.com or the reaverofcommonsense.com. While you're there on Reaver of Common Sense, don't forget, drop in your email and keep up to date with everything going on, or click the like button on the Facebook widget. Now on to the Reaver of Common Sense.
Listening to the SHR Media Network.
This show contains language that some viewers may find offensive. Listener discretion is advised. And now on to the show. And welcome back to the Reaver of Common Sense. I am your host, Jersey Joe, and I'm here to make sense out of the senseless. The Jersey Takeover is here. We have expanded to 2 hours every Monday through Friday, 9 p.m. to 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Oh, how you doing, Dan? If you want to watch a live broadcast, it's pretty easy. Just go to Reaver.one, click on the SHR TV button, and it'll also put you right in with the chat room. So, Coming up in about under 15 minutes, actually under 15 minutes, will be the Sackheads radio show hosted by Sackhead Sean, Sackhead Clint, and BZ. Again, that's at 11 o'clock Eastern Standard Time or 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And I don't know what they'll be discussing this week. A lot of shenanigans will be going on, we know that. So there seems to be some discrepancy going on between the governor of Virginia, Terry McAuliffe, and the state police. The governor, while he was on, D-Ray? He was one of the founders of Black Lives Matter. And Virginia Governor Terry McAuliffe revealed on Monday that the far-right activists had hidden caches of weapons around the city. They had battering rams, and we had picked up different weapons that they had stashed around the city, McAuliffe told civil rights campaigner D-Ray McKenson on his podcast, Save the People. Well, it's looking like I guess Virginia State Police don't like being made to look like weak, I guess the best way would put it. So the next day, August 15th, which is today, Virginia State Police countered McAuliffe's narrative by denying that any weapons caches were discovered during sweeps of the city. Reason CJ tweeted, I just got commented back from Virginia State Police. They say contrary to McAuliffe's statement, no cache weapons were recovered. Now, the actual statement from the Virginia State Police, as to your other question, the governor was referring to the briefing provided him in advance of Saturday's rally and the extra security measures being taken by local and state police. As a safety precaution in advance of August 12th, such searches were conducted in and around Emancipation and one other park. No weapons were located as a result of those searches. So sounds like the governor was trying to give some bullshit answers to cover up why he's trying to justify everything he did, from busting up the protest to having his police stand down and to trying to make an excuse for why the alt-left was all violent. But the state police comes out and shoots it all down, just knocks it right down, and pretty much called the governor a liar. The Virginia State Police said that I can assure you that the Virginia State Police personnel were equipped with more than adequate specialized tactics and protective gear for the purpose of fulfilling their duties to serve and protect those in attendance of the August 12th event at Charlottesville. Then why did they stand down? Pretty much everybody knows that they were made to stand down, so this incident happened. Just talking about it a little bit ago. The Democrats need a new subject to talk about. Russia is falling apart, pretty much done. You got left-wing sites and magazine, The National, writing an article that pretty much tore apart the Russian conspiracy theory. Just tore that apart and proved that that's a bunch of bullshit. And even proved that the Russians did not hack the DNC. Now, that's bad when the left wing tore it apart and proved that it was a lie about the hacking. Well, there's reason about that, but that's for another show. So, the state police are finally finding their balls and standing up to the governor and knocking down. And now they need to come out and, yeah, we were told to stand down. We were forced to stand down. Still doesn't justify them standing down. It really doesn't. What were they going to do if they didn't stand down? If they were actually separated, were they going to lose their jobs for doing their jobs? It would have pissed the governor off, but, because of their failures, we have one person dead. I know there's all the violence that was going on and is the direct cause, but them failing to do their job is also a reason. And now some of the videos are showing that somebody was taking a baseball bat to the guy's windshield right before he hit the gas. And you got a good enough lawyer, and you show that in court enough times, your client is most likely going to get off charges. And it's going to look like he was trying to escape from being attacked when the police just created an atmosphere and caused a lot of violence to happen by pushing the protesters who had a permit into a group of counter-protesters who did not have a permit. I don't agree with the permit situation, but you know what? They had the permit. The counter-protesters did not. And I'll say it again. Oh, man. Now you just totally screwed me up. Dan the Man Butcher just put, it's time to bring down any statue of Colonel Harlan Sanders. Oh, man. Now you just knocked me off my game. Damn. So, new reports coming out. California is the #1 haven for hate groups. The states with the highest number of hate groups may not be the area of the country that many people would assume. California ranks highest among the 50 states, with nearly 80 different hate groups calling the Garden State home, says a report from the Southern Poverty Law Center. Most of the groups are concentrated in South California, the San Francisco Bay Area, and the Sacramento region, the report says. Data shows the western half of the U.S. has significant fewer hate groups than the East Coast. The report says, but California, the nation's most populous state, easily has the highest number of hate groups operating within its borders. The Hate Map report shows 917 hate groups operating across the country. It identifies data not only on white supremacists, but black separatist organization and anti-LGBT groups as well. The report also cites numbers from 2016 that show 130 Ku Klux Klan groups and 193 black separatist groups active across the country. The SPLC also notes there has been a nearly 200% increase in anti-Muslim groups since 2015. In 2011, the total number hit its peak with over 1,000 groups operating. That number dropped to 784 just 3 years later. But there has been a steady increase since then, and the SPLC also says in its report that the country has seen an unprecedented rise in hate groups since the turn of the century. In 1999, when there was only 457 documented groups in the country, Florida ranked number 2 with 63 hate groups and the number 1 on the East Coast. Ranking third is New York State, home to 47 hate groups. Pennsylvania is not far behind with 40 groups. States with the lowest number of hate groups lie mostly in the Midwest and West. Iowa only has 4 groups in operation, while Wyoming and New Mexico have 2 apiece, and North Dakota and Vermont have 1 each. Well, but those areas, if you really look at it, it's either it's too goddamn hot or it's too goddamn cold. You know, do you really want to be protesting out in that heat of New Mexico or in the freezing cold weather of Vermont? Hell no. Data for the hate map list was compiled using hate group publications and websites, citizens and law enforcement reports, sources from the field, and news reports, the SPLC says. I find it funny that California has the highest amount right now. The liberal state has the highest amount of hate groups listed by a left-leaning group. And it's not like, okay, there's conservatives all over the place. No, they're sitting there showing that there's, white supremacists and black separatists. And that pretty entertaining. I know it sounds sick, but it's entertaining sitting there listening to it because it's not the agenda that's told by the mainstream media. It shows you how everything is filtered through the lens of the left. All right, now we're getting close to the end of the show. Coming up will be Sackheads Radio Show in about 5 minutes. 5 minutes, Sackheads Radio Show. So I'm giving the warnings now. Watch out, the show's coming up. Establishment media shaken by Trump's press conference comments on Charlottesville. Journalists and reporters were from establishment media reacted with horror. With horror. How dare he? Oh, my God. How dare Trump? How could he do that to us? I'm appalled. Just some of the comments that I heard being made on a soundbite. I'm seeing if I can find it again real quick. In a press conference called to discuss the president's infrastructure plan, journalists badgered Trump with questions about his response to attack in Charlottesville, during which one woman was killed and another 19 injured when a man deliberately drove his car into a crowd of protesters. There was no way of making a correct statement that early, the president said, of his initial response to the attack, which many observers characterize as insufficient condemnation of white supremacy and extremism. Unlike you and unlike the media, before I make a statement, I like to know the facts. The president also lashed out at the media for its inaccurate reporting surrounding the incident and said that blame for the violence at the protest belongs to both sides. In response to the press conference, NBC Chuck Todd said he was shaken by what he saw on scene, according to CNN's Brian Stetzler. What I just saw gave me the wrong kind of chill. Honestly, I'm a bit shaken by what I just heard, and I suspect it's not just me. It's a bunch of, oh my God, bunch of pansies is what it is. He spoke the truth. He spoke the truth. Both sides were at fault here. He's actually calling out what everybody sees and not through the lens of the mainstream media or through the government in Washington, D.C. He's calling it like people in the real world see it. We see that both sides cause that issue, and we've talked about it extensively. And it's just amazing that the media is just so in this bubble. I don't know if they're just out to start trouble or if they actually are upset that he's calling it so honestly. I mean, I hope to God this is just fake that they're upset about, fake upset, because if they're honestly upset, these people need mental help big time. They need help. Shh. I'm part of the KFC conspiracy. You must be quiet. You cannot talk about the recipe. I don't know. It's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous what's going on nowadays. But that's pretty much the show, because my voice has been going in and out all night, and I don't know why. But I just want to give one last shout out that the show was to Lawrence Road firefighter Captain 22, Sonny Kitchen, who lost his battle with a couple of medical problems, and he's going on to the big firehouse in the sky. He'll be greatly missed. He dedicated pretty much his whole life to saving people, and my condolences go out to his wife, his kids, and his whole family, and Station 22. My heart's with you guys. All right, that's going to be the show, and I'll talk to everybody tomorrow right here. And don't forget, coming up next is the Sackheads Radio Show. Peace. You've been listening to the Reaver of Common Sense with its host, Jersey Joe. You can tune in every day, Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here on hppundit.com and shrmedia.com.